Pambos Soteriades, skilled in strategy, innovation, product development, and management.
Okay, in the beginning, essentially, Warren Buffett said the following: what the wise do in the beginning, fools do in the end. What am I trying to say by that? Running a business, starting a business has a start and theoretically shouldn't have a finish. It's a continuous process of looking at things, evaluating things, changing plans, changing models, and carrying on forward. Now, that's why it's important to start planning as soon as possible. Now, to start planning, here with me, there's a basic toolkit which I refer back to. And judging by the presentations we saw today, and it takes guts to stand in front of people and present ideas and get them to believe in what you're saying. Basic starting point is always what your product is or the service. What's the value proposition? Once you understand that, then essentially you can carry forward. And what I'm talking about value proposition is it has to speak to a specific need, a specific job to be done. There was a professor at Harvard Business School by the name of Clay Christensen, and he came up with this term, a job to be done. People buy products and services because they want to do something. They don't buy things just for the hell of buying them. So your value proposition has to speak specifically to a job to be done. Once you've done that, then essentially you have to figure out what your revenue is going to be, how you're going to price it, where are you going to place it, how are you going to promote it, what people are you going to be using, are they going to be selling it for you, are you going to be licensing their product to sell for them, what processes are involved in the whole thing. Your processes, especially when it comes to customers, have to be frictionless. I don't have to jump through 15,000 different hoops for me to buy your product, use your product, get support from you if I've got a problem. So all of those things have a major fundamental impact on your revenue. And then also your partners in this whole endeavor play a major role. So moving forward, there's a number of revenue models. You can go out there, do a Google search, and you're going to find thousands. In essence, you can bring them down to my mind, advertising. You get revenue by advertising things. Now, those advertisers essentially are having access to your customers on your platform. Think of Facebook. You don't pay money to Facebook. They make money out of you because they push ads to you. The same with Google. There's the freemium thing. I give you the service for free. And then if you want support or if you want extra features or whatever, I start charging you at that point in time. There's the licensing. I give somebody a license to use my service or my content for a set fee. I get X amount of rands per month because, Tom, Dick, or Harry uses my application or the service. The next one is markup. I buy something from somebody else, I add my markup, and then I sell that product down the line and I make my revenue out of that. And then it's the subscription. I subscribe to a service and I get that product or access to that product or service for a specific period of time. All those are basic models which you can find anywhere. Let's moving on forward. How do you choose the right revenue model? 3 factors. It's essentially your customers, your competitors, and ultimately you. You also affect your revenue model. And there's certain basic questions. Now you can take these questions and expand on them. Let's start with the customer questions. Who is buying? What do they buy? And why do they buy your product or your service or any product or service for that matter? What is the job they want done when they buy this thing? Where do they buy? How do they buy? Do they buy online? Do they buy with physical cash? Do they go to a shop and buy? All of those things are things which you have to consider because they impact your revenue, they impact your addressable market. I'm not sure if you heard about this concept of the long tail. Essentially, statistically, if you look at a normal curve, it moves asymptotically off to the end, to infinity. Let's take a stupid example. I develop a product which I'm selling to women globally. I would love to be able to sell my product to China. Why China? 1.3 billion people, let's assume 50-50 females or as opposed to males. I've got a market for 500 million people potentially in China. But again, you have to be very specific in answering those questions. And it has to do with, again, going back to your value proposition. Next one is your competitors. How big are they? What customers are they after? Remember, there's customers out there, but not everybody wants them for various reasons. Because of affordability, because they're sitting too far to support them, because it's a product which I want only the select few to buy, people who buy the Gucci's and the Versace's and the Louis Vuittons. So I don't necessarily want everybody to buy my product. And then there's 3 ways to win. You have to cut your costs to the bone, and that talks to your processes. It talks to focusing on a specific value proposition. There's a concept called value engineering and analysis, which helps you sort in designing something what adds value in terms of the value proposition to the customer and what detracts from value or increasing your costs. You have to offer something unique. Why buy from you and not buy from somebody else? What's your unique selling point? What are you giving me which I cannot get from somebody today or tomorrow? So you always have to be able to provide something unique, be it pricing, be it customer experience, be it customer support, be it brand, be whatever. You have to have some uniqueness in your value proposition. And then the other thing is focus on one customer group. Why is that? It makes your value proposition clearer to your mind, and the clearer it becomes, it's easier to start deciding or making call on the rest of the decision you're going to make in terms of what my revenue is going to be, what my cost is going to be, how am I going to charge the customer, how am I going to do how am I going to support the customer. Now, Bada spoke about pricing. Pricing is important from a number of perspectives. It has a number of dimensions. It's not about affordability. It's about, I can afford to pay, let's take a stupid example. I can afford to pay 25 Rand a month to buy something. But that 25 Rand, I don't have in a big chunk. I'm able to pay 6 Rand a week, but not 25 Rand once off. So bear all of those things in mind when you're designing your value proposition, when you're designing your revenue models, when you make all of those plans. Moving on. Now, Dwight Eisenhower made the following statement. Plans are worthless, but planning is invaluable. What am I trying to say with that? Your plans are going to change. Realize that. They're going to change either because your competitor is pulling something out of the woodwork, or because you realized you have to revisit your value proposition, or because you have realized because of the data or the analysis that your revenue model is not working, it's not the right one. So planning or thinking about what you're trying to do, what you're trying to achieve is a continuous process. Don't get fixated on a revenue model or an advertising model or whatever model for that matter. Use it as a tool, use planning as a method to help you decide what you're going to do, who your target market is, how you're going to charge, how you're going to advertise, all of those good things which you have to do once you become a going concern, if you want to call it that. And why is that? We're living in what they call a VUCA world. It's the business out there, the environment out there, the world out there is volatile. Things happen. COVID happened. Nobody expected it. There's uncertainty. You do something today, your competitor is going to do something tomorrow. If you become fixated with your billing model or your revenue model or your whatever model, you're going to lose. The world is becoming more and more complex, and there's a hell of a lot more ambiguity. Nobody has all the answers. So it's fundamentally important not to get fixated with a given pricing model or a given revenue model or whatever for that matter. It's just tools which help you to clarify your ideas, help you structure a business, help you run a business, because things are going to change. Take it from me. Nothing is constant. The only constant is change. Thank you.